Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this one I thought we could deal about how to handle toxic people, and dealing with toxic people, whether they are, you know, roommates, co-workers or family members, can be very debilitating. But in this one I'm going to focus particularly on, you know, a toxic person in the job place, in the workplace. Okay, somebody literally a bully on the job. So how to handle, you know, bullies on the job, people who are perhaps, you know, envious of you or feel threatened, you know, by your abilities to climb the corporate ladder. Now I'm going to address two different, I know these are 4 fingers, but I'm going to address 2 different examples dealing with someone who is a peer, you know, someone who is a colleague. Let's say you are a project manager, they are a project manager, and then I will address how to handle somebody who is your supervisor on the job. Obviously, you know, the way you're going to handle 2 people like this is very, very different, because, you know, when dealing with a supervisor, a manager, you know, your job and your reports are at stake. So you won't be able to handle them the same way you will handle a peer, a colleague. Now, for example purposes, let's say that you just did a presentation, you just finished your presentation, and, you know, your colleague, let's say she's a project manager, you are a project manager, you both are junior project managers, so, you know, she's not responsible for writing your reports, she can't get you fired or anything. So she goes, you did a good job, you know, like today with that presentation, like with this presentation, you actually did a good job. You did a really, really, really good job with this particular presentation. Now, obviously, you know, she's being shady, right? What she's implying is that you don't usually do a good job with your presentations, right? The fact that she's insisting so much on today and this particular presentation, suspect that what she means to say is that you don't usually do a good job in other presentations. Now you have 2 options here, and option 1, which is my personal favorite, is just ignore her. Right now this is going to require a lot of restraint. Okay, unfortunately most people are not capable of this. You have to have, you know, a high level of emotional regulation, be very, very good at emotional regulation in order to be able to do this. So what I, you know, suggest you do is agree with her. Right, tell her, right, I think I did a good job too, you know, I'm pretty proud of myself, I'm pretty happy with today's the way it went with today's presentation. Baby, she's about to go to her crazy place. You're about to take her to her crazy place. Okay, in her mind she's thinking what a dummy you are, she was fun to shade you, you didn't catch the shade, Now most people, okay, unless you are dealing with somebody who is literally insane, most people are not going to tell you, yeah, I was just shading you, girl. You know, 70-80% of the human population, I'm, you know, guessing, won't say that. So that's a great way to handle her, right? She was trying to trigger you, she was trying to get you to your crazy place, and child, you brought her to her crazy place instead, you know, at least in her mind, right? That's one way to deal with it. Now I'm gonna say again, if it's a supervisor who tells you this, you won't be able to handle her the same way. So let's say that the supervisor say the exact same thing. What I suggest you do in this case is say, thank you for the feedback. When you have time, I would love it if you could walk me through what you feel I don't usually do very well, what you feel areas where you feel that I can improve and work on. Now this is a great response. Why? Because first of all, you know, you stayed calm, you stayed respectful, you thanked her for her feedback, but above all else, you have asked her to help you with bettering, you know, your future presentation. So what is this gonna do? You know, if she was trying to shade you, she's gonna have to come up with, you know, real things that you can improve, or she's just gonna have to, you know, mambo jumbo some, you know, bullish. But in the future, going forward, she's gonna be very mindful of, you know, telling you things that are not true, making you, you know, reproaches that are not right. If there is actually something that you can improve upon, also she's gonna tell you. So this is a win-win situation for you. So what I suggest you do is don't let it go. Okay, give it, let's say it's Monday, give it time, wait until Friday, and then go to her office and knock, you know, and tell her, I was wondering if you have some time, if you could walk me through, you know, what you feel it is I can work on, in which area do you feel, you know, I can better my presentation, what exactly about the presentation it is that you feel I can improve upon, right? And like I said, in most cases you're going to see if she was being full of ish, if she was just, you know, hating, if she was just if she feels threatened by you, she feel like, you know, you have what it takes to get to her position, or even, you know, climb the ladder even higher than she is, you're gonna see that she's gonna say, yeah, it's just something about your energy that day. You know, something about your energy in that presentation was so good. Like, you had, you know, so much energy. There was just so much more pep to it. You know, energy is a bullcrap word, okay? Pardon my French. It's just something that a member jumbo that a lot of people say that means nothing, right? If she says that, just know she's full of crap, okay? And going forward, I promise you, she's gonna be very mindful of making remarks to you, because she's gonna know that, you know, you finna ask her, you finna check her, you finna ask a real tangible example about what she means. So if she was full of ish, going forward, she's gonna kind of, you know, leave you alone. At least, again, if you are dealing with a rational, normal human being. Now, I want to say here, if you are dealing with a supervisor that does not like you at all, to the point where she can't conceal it, because, you know, we can all deal with people that don't like us. But, you know, let's say you go to a doctor, for example, sometimes the doctor doesn't like you, but most doctors, you know, have enough decorum to be able to do their job still. You know, they can stay rational. Now, if you are dealing with a supervisor that is so envious of you, so, you know, that feels so threatened by you, that is so insecure, what I suggest you do is look for another job. Now, I'm not Beyonce, okay? I'm not going to ask you to quit your job, but you really want to consider, you know, looking for something else. Now, when I tell this to people, usually, you know, they're like, yeah, but, you know, this is such a great company, and they are such great, you know, climbing the ladder opportunities, you know, gravitating the echelons. Well, that's not going to happen for you if your supervisor has you on the grip. That's just the truth. If she doesn't like you and she's the one who writes your reports, the chances of you being promoted and really climbing the ladder are going to be, you know, in the water. It's going to be difficult to do that. You know, I knew somebody who insisted, yeah, but this person started, you know, as a janitor, and then they ended up, you know, owning some part of the company, having some shares in it. Again, you know, I'm sure that they didn't have someone who hated them in the company. If you have someone who hates you, gravitating the echelons are going to be difficult. So what you want to do here is apply now. Do not quit your job, obviously. Apply for other jobs, and once you find something else, you want to go there. That's the best way to climb the ladder today anyway. You know, back in the days, you started in a company, you worked your way up, and you got to the top. Nowadays, most people work one job 3 to 5 years, and then they, you know, jump companies, because usually when you do, you get better pay offers, you get, you know, more perks, you get a more prestigious title, right? I mean, of course, it's possible to still grow in the company that you're in, but usually, you know, the salaries adjustment that they offer are not as big as if you are jumping ship and going somewhere else, right? Now, let's say that you are dealing with a pair and you don't want to let it go. Let's say she's doing this all the time. You know, this is not the first jab she takes at you. She takes jabs at you all the time, and you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you decided you want to talk to her about it. You won't let it go. Like I said, this is not a supervisor. This is somebody you are. Let's say you are a junior project manager, she's a junior project manager, and you guys do not get caught up in the examples. These are just semantic. This works, you know, whether you are a project manager, you know, whether you are a consultant, whatever you is, this advice can be applied in most corporate or non-corporate, you know, whether you work in a bakery, whatever you work, whether you is a waitress, whatever you work, this will work if applied this way with most people, right? Now, tell her, and don't ask her, what do you mean? This is a big mistake I see people do when communicating with toxic people. You never want to ask a toxic person what they mean, because toxic people tend to be manipulative, they tend to be liars. So if you ask them what you mean, you are giving them a rock to be able to backtrack. In this case, if you ask her what do you mean, she said, oh, what do you mean, what do I mean? You know, I'm just congratulating you on the great job that you did in this presentation, right? And you're not going to be able to, you know, discuss with her. Even if you take it to the manager, she's going to say, I told her she did a good job. And if the manager asks you, is that what she said, you're going to say yes. Now you can say, yeah, she was being condescending, she was being shady, she was being sarcastic. That's very, very hard to prove. So do not ask her what did she mean. Don't doubt yourself. You discern what you discern. You heard what you heard. She was being shady, she was being sarcastic. You heard it. So don't ask her, what did you say? You know what she said, okay? I would suggest saying something along the lines of, obviously, you know, find your own words, but this is just a general example. Something along the lines of, you know, I can see that you are well-meaning, but given that you are not my supervisor or my manager, it is actually not your place to rate my performances. So going forward, I would appreciate it if you would not give me any feedback about how you felt I did. Okay? Now, do not engage. This is key. This is key. This is key. You set a boundary with her. You told her that you do not need for her to give you her thoughts about your performances. Do not engage any further. You know, if she goes, yeah, girl, I was just trying to help you, da, 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 da. Again, do not engage. This is so important when dealing with toxic people. You don't want to over engage with them because they are not well, they are mentally ill. So do not continue to engage with her. You said what you said, you set the boundary. I see that a lot of people have a problem maintaining their boundaries. They don't have any problem setting the boundary, but they tend to have a big problem, you know, upholding the boundary. You said what you said, the conversation is to an end. Don't engage with her any further. If you guys are in the conference room, you know, gather your papers and leave, go to your office. Now if she's in your office, which I doubt, you know, most co-workers are not going to come into your office and knock and tell you, you know, you did well in this presentation, just to be sarcastic and be shady. So most likely you guys are still in the conference room. You just ended, you know, your presentation. Just gather your papers and go, and do not engage any further with them. This is extremely important. Get in the habit of not over engaging with toxic people, because you're going to lose. Arguing with a fool is a fool's errand, right? From someone who is looking from far away, can't tell which one is the fool. They just see two people arguing. So you really do not want to get into arguing with her. You said what you said, she heard what you said, and that's it, that's all, okay? Don't say it again. Now, I also wanted to touch on some general things that I find that can be very, very helpful in, you know, the corporate or non-corporate world. And it's, first of all, understanding that your coworkers are not your friends. This is the big one. And I find that this is especially true for people who are working non-corporate jobs. People who work like at a bakery or waitresses, you know, tend to think that their coworkers are their friend because maybe the job is not as serious. So they tend to think that, you know, this is their friend. Ma'am, your coworkers are not your friend, okay? Keep it professional. I'd say, you know, keep the small talk to the minimum. Perhaps, you know, what are your plans this weekend? What are you doing this weekend? Do not go any further than that. I'm sorry, you guys, the window is open. So, you know, don't engage beyond that point. And I'm going to tell you why. I used to know this person who, you know, once it was her birthday and one of her co-workers gave her a gift, okay? And she was so happy and she was so excited because, you know, she had just mentioned in passing that her birthday was coming up and nobody in the company gave her anything. But this one co-worker came with, you know, some gift because it was her birthday, and going forward she actually considered that person a friend. So, you know, they started chit-chatting first, you know, what are you doing this weekend, how was your weekend? But then it went further and she told this person about her 2 kids and how one of them had ADHD. And then she also made the ginormous mistake of telling this woman how her husband was cheating on her with a waitress in a restaurant that they used to go to all the time. This was their go-to place. They celebrated anniversaries there. He proposed to her there. You know, one day she came to work rather sorry, and she was very, very down, right? And the coworker kept pressing her, what's wrong with you, girl? I know you, something is wrong with you, what's wrong with you, right? And she finally gave in, right? She told her, you know, what was going on in her marriage. Big mistake. So one day they had to do a presentation together, you know, teamwork, and they disagreed on, you know, how the strategy that they were going to use, right? And as they were disagreeing, you know, likely on the strategy, she said we should do it this way, and the other woman said we should do it that way. That woman just lost it, okay? She probably struggled with emotional regulation. She was like, see, you know, you lack discernment. This is why you were not able to see that your husband was cheating on you with that waitress. Ma'am, excuse you, in a room, they were not alone in the room. It wasn't full, but there were other people who worked with them, you know, in that room as well. It was a conference room, so there were other people there as well. And, you know, now her life was out there. All these people didn't know about her business. Now they knew her business, and, you know, she was being considered for a promotion and she didn't get the promotion. Now, I'm not saying that that is the reason why she didn't get it, but maybe, you know, because the person who was to decide whether she would get a promotion or not was in the room as well. So perhaps that person definitely overheard that and said, you know what, if you lack discernment, then maybe you're not the woman for the job. Or if you're out here telling your private business, definitely you're not the woman for the job. Now, they never told her that it was because of that incident, and as she asked, you know, the person, they said it wasn't because of that. But, you know, even if it is, they were not going to tell her the truth. They would lie to you anyway. So be very, very careful. Your coworkers are not your friends. Now, second thing is, do not engage in gossiping. This is extremely important, ladies. No gossip, okay? Do not gossip about your coworkers. That goes without saying. But if a coworker is bringing gossip to you, to be very careful about what you say, okay? Weigh your words, you know, make sure your words are impeccable, okay? Because this is the thing about gossipers. Gossipers are liars. Yes, liars, okay? Gossipers are liars. So what they tend to do is they will come to you and say, oh, have you heard, did you hear, da-da-da, husband is sleeping with da-da-da, and then they will go back to that person, and yes, I've been through this, and tell them that you say that the husband was sleeping with somebody else. So you want to be extremely careful when dealing with a gossiper, because again, gossipers are liars. Okay, so when somebody's coming to give you some office tea, don't be so eager to get the tea that you put yourself in troubling waters. Okay, do not say anything beyond, what, really? Oh my god, that's crazy. Okay, use things that are very, very, very words that are very, very neutral. And another thing that I suggest, now of course you would have to check at your company's policy. This is not allowed in, you know, every company, and I know that in a court of law also in some states recordings are not permitted, they are not allowed, but record them. If your company doesn't have anything against that, if that's not against your company policy, what you want to do is record them every single time. Now the reason why you want to record them is so that if they go back to the person they were gossiping about and lie and say that you started the rumor, that you are the one who said that their husband was sleeping with somebody else, you'll be able to back up yourself. You'll be able to say, actually, let's listen to exhibit 1. Let's listen to exhibit 2. Let's listen to exhibit 3. Okay, so back up yourself. Okay, be very, very careful. Do not engage in any company gossip. You know, at best I would say just tell them up front, express this boundary. Actually, you know, I rather not discuss other co-workers, private life, private matter. Now I know that unfortunately everybody doesn't have a backbone. The problem with y'all, a lot of you guys lack boundaries. A lot of you guys are people pleasers, right? But you need to be able to have the backbone to when somebody's giving you, because a dog that brings a bone carries a bone. Ladies, careful. Okay, when somebody's bringing you company tea, gossip, mess, tell them, you know, I'm here to do my job, I'm here to do my work. I'm actually not looking, you know, to engage in any co-workers' private life. I have a lot of respect for them and for myself, and therefore I will not engage with this. And you know, it's best done that way. Now if you is curious, okay, if you is like me and you want to listen to the tea, record it, say only neutral things and back yourself up. Okay, because this can come back to you know, to explode on your face. It can be dangerous. Okay, and those are, you know, the career tips that I have for you guys. You know, dealing with difficult co-workers can be very, very debilitating, because you know, at the end of the day you need this money to support yourself, to support perhaps even your children, your family, you know, for amenities and utilities. And yeah, it can be very, very hard. And if you are, my heart goes out to you. I hope that the situations resolve themselves soon, and very, very soon. If you found this video helpful, if you appreciated it, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. In the comment section down below, let us know, let the community know, okay, what are your best tips in order to deal with a difficult co-worker, a difficult roommate perhaps, or even family members, because these tips work with those as well. You know, they work, setting boundaries work with roommates as well, and with family members too. And do not forget to subscribe to my channel as well, and I will talk to you guys on Sunday 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye guys.